I'm Jeremy White. I'm executive editor of Wired magazine in the UK. And we're here today with Honor and Jacky Tsai, who has designed one of Honor's Magic Watch 2 smartwatch limited editions. Actually, it's a limited edition and straps. Very exciting. I want to actually, before we welcome Jacky in, I want to tell you a little bit about the artist himself. He's born and bred in Shanghai, heavily influenced by artists such as Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. Jacky's work focuses on the combination of traditional Chinese craft with sort of Western pop iconography, sort of East meets West, if you will. Tsai's signature sort of kaleidoscope aesthetic resonates through his work and is evident here actually with his vibrant floral horse Magic Watch 2 design. Tsai's diverse pieces have gained into international acclaim, and his work has been showcased around the world at major exhibitions in London, Moscow, Hong Kong, New York, Singapore. So it's a great honor to have him here with us today. And welcome, Jacky. How are you doing?
Hi, no bad. Hi, how are you doing, Jeremy?
Very well, sir. Very well. Let's bring in for people that maybe want to be an introduction to your work and your artist. How did you start in art? Give us a sort of a brief introduction to your background, if you would indulge us.
Well, I spent like 22 years in my hometown Shanghai. Then now is my 14th years in London, so you can guess my age. So when I moved to London, when I graduated from St. Martin, I tried to be a designer because all my course in the past was design course. I tried to be a good designer, but I found I'm a quite grumpy designer. I don't want to follow any instruction because I always have so many good ideas. Then after a while, I feel maybe it's the time to do something different, to start my artistic career, because I just want to express myself. I don't want to follow any idea, and now I have a unique visual language. So that's this all come about, to become artist.
And so, one of the interesting facts I remember, obviously pop culture is very important to you. The references you mentioned, Lichtenstein, Warhol, for example. Yeah. And this even went as far as to say, I believe you wanted to even be a pop star when you were younger. Is this true? Or am I just reading something that wasn't quite right?
I was joking. But every small boy has a dream to be a pop singer, pop star.
Okay.
Now I choose to be an artist. But if you're an artist, it's more like a singer. You can choose being an opera singer or a pop singer, right? So I choose to be a pop singer. Absolutely. So with all the kind of the common language to most of audience, so it's very easy to approach. So if I'm a pop star, if I'm a singer, I'm a pop star. If I'm an artist, I'm a pop artist.
Absolutely, pop culture all the way. Well, let's talk about that then, because you did a master's degree at Central St. Martin's, famous art school here in the UK in London, and you came into the limelight when you created the iconic floral skull emblem for legendary designer Alexander McQueen. So tell us a little bit about your education at Central St. Martin's and how that's influenced your creative process.
Well, it's influenced me massively, I have to say, because when I come from Shanghai, all my art education, when in my childhood, it's all about the Chinese traditional drawing. It's all about very Chinese way. But when I moved to here, I think I certainly opened my eye. Art can be, different. There's so many mediums, so many ways you can do. So I start my collage career So I like everything to choose the old elements, from the old poster, then combine them together to form a new art. So this sort of way just become my new favorite. So I think definitely Central St. Martin taught me how to make collage work. Before it's all about painting, traditional painting. So actually that's a very good thing because I have very good foundation in China. Then I learned how to be creative in London. So I just combine them together to form my, unique fusion art.
And that's excellent. So let's talk about, well, I mean, obviously that sort of style has followed you through since then. That sort of epitomizes your style of work right from Central St. Martin's onwards. Then
exactly.
Exactly. West side thing.
Yeah. Because when I in the first 2 years when I come to London, I just got all the cultural shock. So you can imagine a young, innocent Chinese kids come to a new country, just feeling everything uncomfortable. I lost my passport. I don't like the food. There's just so many trouble for young kids. So for me, to absorb the culture in my first 2 or 3 years, I think influenced me massively on my art nowadays.
And this sort of seam of east meets west sort of thing, obviously seems to be. Do you reckon that had something to do with why how this collaboration with Honor actually came about? Because that seems to be
exactly
relevant.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's very relevant. I think almost same, with my personal history, because Honor, I think, come from China, but have huge impact in the Western society. So I think it's quite quite the same for me.
What I was interesting when talking about your art, I want to talk a little bit about the synergy between art, technology, fashion. And one of the most interesting things that I heard you describe your art as was future meets past.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very neat summation of this idea of possibly a connection between art and technology and design and art. I'd like to know a little bit more about what you think about this, how these worlds, which are seemingly so separate, art and the coldness of technology, how they can mix.
Well, that's because I had this idea long times ago. I think if you want to do something very creative, you have to have your own foundation. You have to inherit it, all the kind of all the good things from the past. Then you can doing something very innovative, to embrace the future. So so for me, technology, I always thinking about technology, how to bring my art in the next level, how to be a different artist, because I don't want to copycat as an artist. I want to create a unique way. So technology, certainly just open a new door for me. So I think in the future, a lot of artists going to using AR and VR to do the art. And also, how you make the art in a unique way. So that's a good question, because if you only using the new technology, but you don't have the good knowledge for the master painting, old master painting, you probably you don't know how to make a good art, because everything coming from past, then you can do something new. if you understand what I mean. So
Yeah.
I think there's a good balance between old the past and the future. So I think I certainly I want to keep that balance.
Have you experimented with VR and AR in art yet, or do you think the
Yeah,
technology is not quite ready?
Actually, I'm just doing that. I'm going to launch my new app, which combine AR and VR. I think that's the future of future trends in the art world. Everyone will go online. Everyone will watch your art in the virtual reality. So actually, I'm doing this. I think the technology is quite mature now. So I just come out so many good ideas, but you know all the good thing takes time. So we will probably launch in next half year. So you will see the results. I think that it will be different.
I'd be super excited to see that when you get to it. Actually, let's talk a little bit about the limited edition design you've done for the Magic Watch 2 for the floral horse. How does this design? I mean, because it's certainly you. How does this design personify your style? Talk me a little bit through the floral horse.
Well, first of all, as an old artwork, I did this like 7 years ago, but I think it's perfectly fit with Honor Magic Watch 2 because the color is very young and vibrant. I now Honor wanna empower the new generation. So I think it's a huge, perfectly matched. I mean, the vibrant color with the cutting edge design. So I think somehow I just find some synergy between, the technology, art, and the design.
And is it a piece? I mean, it's very striking how it fits on the design of the straps and across the face, as it were. Is this, and obviously, what do you have to do when you're talking about the original piece of artwork? The dimensions are radically different to what the canvas of the watch and the straps that you're working on right now. How do you go about, adapting, such a striking piece of artwork to fit on a completely different dimensions?
I think every medium has his own advantage. I think nowadays people enjoy to wearing, the art rather than just putting the art on the wall. So I think as artists, you have to adapt. The current trend is not putting the art on the wall. So you have to wearing the art. You have to using all the different medium. That's for me is not a problem. I think if you produce something amazing, you can find out a good way to change your art in any sort of different medium. Just if you have the quality art, I think you can do anything, no matter what medium. For me, yeah.
I wanted to see with that. That's very good advice, actually. Would that be your sort of piece of advice to aspiring artists? I mean, there's going to be people here watching this, looking for advice from someone who's as established as you, and say, look, how can I break through in such a sort of crowded market, really, with so many people doing interesting things? How can I cut through? What advice would you give to young aspiring artists?
Well, the thing is, I think we are in a huge, exciting era. During this pandemic, for me, is a huge opportunity because no matter you are like a world-class artist or you are emerging artist, your chance is the same. You have to go online because all the art fair, all the exhibition are cancelled. If you have the quality art, showing that online, and if you keep doing art, using this good time, to learn art, to get your art in the next level. I think you know, people will understand how good you are. So I think I see this as a huge opportunity for the young artists, because everyone just saying, "Oh, it's a tough time for the art world," but I feel the opposite. I think you know, during this time, because I'm sitting at home and I have so many ideas. So sometimes, you know, as artists, you need this sort of quiet time to think through everything.
That's awesome, Jacky. It is exactly that. You know, there's always a silver lining, and this idea that this is a time for reflection and sort of inspiration when we're going on here. It's a really nice, actually, a really nice point to end on, really. Jacky, listen, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been
thank you so much,
really
Jeremy.
lovely speaking with you, and good luck with the VR work and the AR work. I can't wait to see that. And look forward to some more exciting news from you. I know you wanted to collaborate with Elon Musk on maybe painting the rocket, and so I'm sorry that didn't come about. You know, maybe next time there's going to be plenty more launches, I'm sure. Anyway, for all our viewers here, the Honor Magic Watch 2 limited edition, Jacky's own version there of the Floral Horse is check it out now on highhonor.com. And so go and see it for yourself. It's a beautiful piece of wearable technology. Anyway, chat to you soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You're listening to that, you'll hear the sort of rigorous grilling I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
It'll be easy, I promise.
Yeah. I think you're on.
Are we actually running, guys? I thought we start at 10:30. Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Jeremy White, and I'm the executive editor of Wired magazine in the UK. I'm very excited. Welcome back. I'm very excited that we're now going to be talking live with Honor with Giovanni Ozzola, who's designed one of the Honor Magic Watch 2 limited editions. Welcome, Giovanni. I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction here. You're a multidisciplinary artist, so obviously known very much for your photography work. Multidisciplinary artist that works, where you've been exhibited internationally, primarily in photography, as I say, but you also work with sculpture and video installations. And the main themes, obviously, you seem to be exploring, looking at things like exploration, both outward and inward. So I want to first bring in an example of how you might consider to be your, give an introduction to your background, how you came to being, because it's really interesting, isn't it? Because you started in a rather unconventional way. So give us an introduction to your background.
Ciao, Jeremy. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Yes, I didn't really follow the usual path to reach and be an artist. I've kind of follow a path that it was in front of me. Because I didn't attend any art school, and I left home when I was quite young, and I've worked in photography, and somehow I found myself to present my photograph because I was collecting some photos. Those photos that were very important to me, and with those photos, I could feel at home. So somehow I showed those photos of a person that is Pierluigi Tazzi, and he invited me to have a show. And since that moment, I never stopped to have show, to exhibition, and then I've started to have relation with art galleries and so on. So practically, I kind of discover who I am through my practice and through following that path that I was mentioned.
And was this idea that you didn't have that sort of rigid, formal training or formal structure right at the start of your artistic career? Is that given you, almost a freedom, as it were, rather than going through traditional academia?
Absolutely, yes, because I come from Florence, so I have been breathing art in some sort of structure very much, and being able to study what I really felt I was needing, and I really I was like skipping school and going to listen philosophy lessons to the university. I was embracing what I really enjoyed, and that really gave me freedom. I didn't carry any weight on my shoulder, so
yeah.
I could somehow decide what I wanted to be and which kind of work I wanted to realize.
And so that's quite a journey from starting taking pictures at 16 years old on the streets of Florence to then getting established very quickly. I mean, almost discovered within 1 year of doing that, really, and then not being constrained by the traditional structures of art teachings, and then do your own exhibitions globally, and then finally, obviously, working on something like this, like a project which is very individual, like designing for the wearable sort of sector of technology. How did this collaboration with Honor come about?
I've been exhibiting in China since 2013. I had a few solo shows in China. Recently, I had a big solo show at Fosun. So my work is quite popular in the East, and I've started to have a relation with them, and so we kind of this is the blooming of our relation.
Okay, so let's talk about then. Tell us a bit more about your Honor Watch Magic 2 designs. You've got two actually, One Day and Ficus. So tell us a little bit about One Day first. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that is very interesting. For me, when art is like a storm, whenever it touches a new field, it kind of brings the complexity of that field to the extremes. So what is this watch for me? This watch is a kind of talisman. It's a kind of very powerful tool. Is somehow you can't get lost if you have it. You can't feel lonely if you have it because you are connected. It maps your heartbeat. I mean, it has so many functions that practically it's like it pushes away from you the unknown, your individual unknown somehow. Really, you can't get lost with it. It's like it's a very powerful object. So I thought that it was very interesting to work on the design in a philosophical way. And so what I've placed on it, it's a kind of horizon. It's a photograph that I took years ago, and there is like this bunker, a military bunker, and there is this beautiful view on the ocean. So, and the symbol is the horizon. The horizon is a place that you can never reach. That my aim, it can be your desire, but it is something unreachable. So I love to have this contrast between something that is mapping everything. It gives you the possibility to don't get lost, but still the image that you have on it, the photograph that you have on it, it's this horizon where you can't lose yourself into it. When you lose yourself into a landscape, you kind of melt into everything. You are not alone anymore. So you are in the horizon.
I see you return to this sort of juxtaposition between horizons and urban, like almost that expansiveness and the calm of the horizon and the chaos or the noise of the urban landscape, quite a lot, don't you? In terms of it's obviously something that really, really resonates with you. I mean, I'm thinking like Through a Day, Another Step Horizon. You've got a piece of work behind you right now, which seems to show that very theme as well. So, this is obviously something that you keep returning to. It's obviously incredibly important to you.
Yeah, it's because it's really, you have many levels. You can read these kind of works that we are mentioning with different kind of depthness. There is darkness, light, there is quiet and chaos, so there is something artificial, something natural. But what I love about this idea is the harmony that you find. We can't live inside in a daily broken life without that window. We need that window. It's our hope. It's our light. But at the same time, you can't be lost in nowhere. You can't live in that constant unawareness. You need that bunker. You need that daily ugliness. You need those scars to feel safe. So it's an harmony between these 2 points, and that's why, going back to the watch, I really love this idea that you have a chaos around you, but that watch can calm you down somehow.
Yeah,
because it helps you. And at the same time, it's something that is mapping, but you have an horizon on it, so you can get lost and be free. So I love this kind of balance between what is outside, what is represent the watch, and what is represented on the watch.
And that's very interesting. Let's talk about, because I don't want people to get the impression that this is this is one the predominant part of your artwork. It's much broader than that. And I think Ficus is an example where the second smartwatch for Honor is that this is completely different. This looks like it's exploring space and light. It's very strange because you're transforming. Like the leaves of a common domestic plant, transformed by sort of playing with light or variations of light. Forgive my description, but it's very different to to the first watch, to one day. So tell us about that, because it's quite a departure from the first piece.
Yeah, that somehow again there is this calmness, there is this stillness of the leaves of move. There is almost no movement. There is like a calm movement. And another thing that I love and why I've proposed that work for the watch, it's because it has been, that photo is a very old photo and has been shot with a Polaroid, with a camera, view camera. So it's like a very old camera, very old technique, and it's on something that is extremely contemporary, extremely new, like this watch. So again, there is like two extreme and a balance. And I love this kind of light that comes in from a window and it gives energy to the leaves. So there is this kind of restness and these slightly movements. And I thought it was interesting as idea to map the time. What's the time? It's like a good question. It brings me many different questions. And one of these, the most powerful for me, it's what is time? What is your movement on this planet? The watch is a very powerful object, I think.
Absolutely.
As a symbol, I mean.
What do you think, as you say, it's interesting that you use sort of an old camera to take the image itself. And that's an interesting sort of that juxtaposition between old technology to make something that's, emblazoned on brand new technology. What do you think about, obviously, as you're so important, as photography is such an important part of your style of art, how do you view technology, the technology of photography at the moment? Do you think, are you sad that, that the traditional photography world, the people, the consumer is, the general public is moving away from cameras and, for the convenience of the smartphone cameras? But you could almost argue as well that this is an opportunity of actually getting very good quality smartphone technology and camera technology in the smartphone just in everybody's hand. As you say, you're a 16-year-old just going around snapping pictures and you didn't even realize the power of the artwork you were created. I'm wondering whether you're excited by the fact that photography technology has changed so radically, or whether you're saddened by it.
Actually, it's. Actually, it's. I'm not sad at all. Actually, I have nostalgia for the old times. I've grew up with that. I grew up with. I've learned to take photos with film, to develop them, and so on. But I don't have any nostalgia, as I said. But I use photography in a kind of different way. I don't feel myself as a photographer. So for me, it's interesting that everything that it's sensitive to light. We are sensitive to light, and Apple is sensitive to light. Everything is sensitive to light. So if we have a CCD that it get impressed by light or a regular old film, it's really, for me, it's meaningless. It's the same thing. What is interesting that everything is really sensitive to light. This is something that I really love. The whole universe is sensitive to light.
Yes. So you don't really care how images are captured. It's just about the image itself.
Yes, definitely. Actually, even a step further, I like the idea that you allowed yourself to take a time to record a moment. The act of photographing is even more interesting than the photography itself.
No, that's very interesting.
It's like you wanna take a piece of the reality that you wanna live, that you're living, and you wanna share it. So it's something that is, I would never be able to see what you see, what you perceive. So this idea that you act you're active on your reality and you want to take a piece of it and share it. That's really, really interesting to me.
That's a fascinating point. Give us a little bit of future gazing for yourself then, Giovanni. What do you see in the near future for your artwork? What are you working on?
I mean, actually, I'm working on many different projects at the moment. The private commission are the ones that are still on, because this pandemic kind of paused everything. So I'm working on different projects, and everything is more or less related to the unknown. And I love this idea, especially during this time, that somehow, historically, in every culture, we felt the need to push away the unknown far from us. So we've been mapping what it was around us. We sailed towards the unknown. We discovered the planet, we map it. And the unknown now, it's in the universe. But somehow this virus, it kind of reminds us that the unknown is still present. We have individual unknown and collective unknown, and it can come back because we actually don't know what's going on, and we don't know what it will be. We can assume things, but we are not sure. So the unknown somehow is back again, and we still have to face it. And I think that working on this idea is very, very interesting, and it's my duty.
So you've been inspired by the constraints and the radical shift in culture that's happened because of the pandemic, really.
Yes, and somehow, this time really, I think it's really helpful because it's somehow it forces you to face your own weakness in your own point of strength, of course.
Yeah.
And somehow you have a better awareness of yourself as an individual and as a community, as your neighborhood. You can enlarge this to humanity, from you to humanity. So I think it's very important time for us. We should really be a bit more aware of who we are.
And the present, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, especially during these days.
Exactly. Listen, Giovanni, honestly, this has been a fascinating chat. Thank you so much for spending some time with Wired and Honor today. I really appreciate it. So we come to the end of today's live streaming. So thank you, Giovanni. Thanks everyone for joining us. Have a very nice day and enjoy the rest of your time. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.